Hi, my name is Tomasz and you're watching Casual DIY channel. In today's video, some basics about a jointer. In my particular case, it's a very budget version of it. Check out the video. Before we start the video, I'm just going to raise my jointer to a nice and workable level. That's better. The jointer I've got is a Titan that I bought in Screwfix, a UK based store. However, as you look at the design, many other makes actually have got the same design, and more or less it is the same machine. And as you can see at the back, I've actually made my own fence, as the original fence was just not doing the job good enough. If you are interested in my particular machine or the fence, I've got you covered. Links to my videos are down below in the description of this video. The main job of a jointer is to produce one straight and flat face of a board and one straight edge that's at 90 degrees to the face that we jointed, okay? And that is all. To get the other edge sorted, that will be straight and parallel to the first jointed edge, you need to go to your table saw. And to get the second face of your board straight, even and parallel to the jointed face, you need to go to a thickness planer. I will be covering the whole process of getting rough lumber to a ready-to-use board in a later video. So you may wish to subscribe to my channel so you won't miss that future content. The name jointer comes from a practical use of this machine. When you joint the edges, i.e. you get the edges straight and true, you then gonna joint two boards together, glue them up to create a panel. And to get a nice seam with no gaps, that's what you're using the jointer for. It will produce a nice edge on both of the boards that you can later on glue up and make a large panel. That way you're gonna have a very strong joint with no gaps between the boards. Okay, so let's talk about the key components of this machine. You've got the fence, you've got the in-feed table, which is this part, and then you've got the out-feed table. The out-feed table remains in the same position. You cannot adjust its height. That's your base. However, the in-feed table here, you can adjust the height of this table. That will indicate how much material you will be taking off from your board at each pass. Between your tables you've got a cutter head, okay? Obviously this machine is not plugged into electricity. So over here, that's the blade on the cutter head. In my particular case, I've got a steel blade. I've got two of them on either of the side. The top of that blade that's running in the cutter head is level to your outfeed table, okay? So if you put a square or anything like that, the blade itself will be barely touching your square, okay? So it needs to be at the same level. You see, it only just skims my square just at this point, so it's at the same height as your outfeed table. However, if I place my ruler on top of the outfeed table, you can see a gap between the in-feed table and the outfeed table. On my machine, I've got a knob here that will allow me to adjust the in-feed table. Okay, so as you can see, the gap is getting lower, smaller and smaller. And when you get to the top, to the zero position, that in-feed table should be level to your outfeed table. Another thing that you need to be aware of is the fence of the jointer. When you are jointing the face of a board, like so, you do not reference anything of the fence itself, the edge, okay? When one of the faces of your board is jointed, then you can reference the face on the fence of your jointer to get a nice and straight edge of your board that will be at 90 degrees to the face that you already jointed. Okay, so it's very important that your fence is at 90 degrees to your table. If you do move about your jointer a lot in your workshop, make sure to check your fence for squareness to the tables of your jointer. How much material should you be removing at each pass? As little as possible. I would say between 0.5 millimeter to 1 millimeter is absolutely plenty to get you started. Right then, I'm going to show you the motion of how the blades are actually operating on this machine with a bit more exaggeration. So I will be taking a lot more material at a single pass than you should be doing. Okay, it's just to show you how it works. And I've took off the guard as well, but always use the guard. If there are any safety options for your jointer, please use them, as the blades of this machine are spinning very fast and it's easy to lose control of the board and, you know, in the end have an injury. So if there are any safety features with your equipment, please use them. Okay, now let's talk about the technique, how to use this machine correctly. Again, it will depend a little bit on the build of your tool. As you can see, that's my guard. That's making sure that my fingers are away from the blades. Now you will see that a lot of people are just using their hands to push through the material on a jointer. Now if you are very experienced with the tool, fine, you may do that. It's not the best way. However, I don't recommend that if you are especially a beginner. Use some push sticks. Now these I've had with this machine, and to be fair, they are not very good. I do have these and they're far better. I do have the option that at the back of them I've got this small piece of plastic that is actually lower than the base of this. So what this allows me is to hook up at the end of the board with that piece of plastic and push the material through. As you will see, the worst thing you can do when using your hands pushing the wood through, you are tempted to use your back hand to push the wood through. And at that point, your fingers are so dangerously close to the blade. So never ever do that. With using your hands, it's also very easy to lose control of the board and your hand may slip, especially if you don't have the blade guard. You know, you are asking for trouble and your hand may land on the spinning blade that's just underneath this guard. A lot of people actually don't use this guard, and I have to say I don't tend to use it as much either. But what I do, I put my board in and I don't want to have the whole blade exposed to me. Okay, so I lower the guard and lock out the piece of blade that it's not going to be used, and I will always use these push sticks so my hands are never near the blade itself. In my opinion, the more safety you've got with your tool, especially if you're beginning your adventure with this type of tool, the better. Now the next question, where do you actually put the most pressure, the most force as you are pushing the wood through? To start with, your leading hand is putting the pressure here and just pulling the wood through the blades itself, okay? There's a minimal pressure on your back hand. As you are progressing through the blade, you're putting a lot more pressure at the front and releasing the pressure from the back. The back is just supporting the board that is leading through the blade and making sure it's going in a nice and steady pace. However, the most amount of pressure needs to be put on the part on the outfeed table, not on the infeed. It needs to be on the outfeed. So with that force, you basically are pulling the board on the outfeed table through the blade itself. When one face is straight and flat, then you can reference that face on the fence of your jointer, okay? And then you can sort out the edge of your board. You're making sure that the face of the board is firmly against the fence, pushing it through, adding some pressure at the front of the board, okay? And more force needs to be applied at the outfeed table. So let's make a few passes. So I hope you can see that the jointer took some material off here, and then you still got a lot of material left on this side, just over here, so it's not taking too much material at the end of the board, as you know, you got this slight slope to the board. Now, to help you out with the whole process, use a pencil. Mark up the board until all the pencil mark is gone, then you'll be 100% sure that the board is nice and flat. With rough sawn material, you may also have some coping. As you can see, I've got slight coping in this board, okay? So the middle is higher than the side itself, okay? So the cope is going like this, okay? And what you want to do is to have that face where that cope is, so that's the high spot, that's the two low spots, okay, on the edges. You want that part to be on the jointer bed itself, on the tables, okay? In that way, it's more stable. If you went to join the other side of this cope, the board would be unstable. It would rock left to right, and it would be very unstable on the tables of the jointer. So you would take off the high spots from the edges first, and that will eventually turn the board flat. You may also come across boards that, you know, they will rock. For example, they will have some high spots at, you know, opposite edges or anything like that. In that particular case, what you need to do, you need to run the board in the most stable position. And what I mean by that is, as you are pushing the wood through, you need to have your force, you need to have your pressure applied to a certain you know, side of the board, making sure the board itself is as stable as possible, and it will not rock on you, move on you as you are pulling it through the jointer itself. Okay, so with one face of the board nice, even and flat, we are able to take care of one of the edges of the board. And now we've got a jointed face and one jointed edge of the board. You can double check it with your square to make sure it's perfectly square. And now this board is ready for the next step, to get it to a stage where it's a ready to use board for a project. Now I hope that this basic information about a jointer was helpful to you. If it was, drop me that like button down below, and if you've got any more questions, you know where the comment section is. But guys, for today, that's all from me. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for watching. Take care.